Alright, now let's take a look on how to manage and deploy an application with Windows Intune. Okay, now I'm logged on to the Azure portal here. Okay, and I'm going to come to the Intune Blade. Okay, and then we're going to come down to where we see Client Apps. We'll select that. And then in the same area under Manage, we're going to select Apps. Okay, now by default you won't have any in here. Okay, so you start, adding them. And I've already added some just to kind of give me some things to work with and kind of give a real world feel. Okay, but towards the top here we're going to select Add. Now at this point you'll see Select App Type, okay, and we can do a store app, okay, so we see the stores, okay, so whether it's Android, iOS, or of course the Microsoft Store. Okay, manage Google Play app. All right, now we can scroll down and we can do Office 365. Okay, for Windows 10 and Mac OS 10. Okay, from there, Edge browsers if you want to go that route. Excuse me. Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection for Mac OS. Okay, and then you'll see some of the other ones like the Web Link, the built-in app, line of business app, the Win32. So we have a lot of options here. Okay, and you can deploy desktop apps through Windows Intune. Okay, now I'm going to do a store app, just kind of a little bit more lightweight, a little bit easier. Okay, and then not to mention it can take up to 15 minutes or so for the application to actually deploy. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll select Microsoft Store app. Okay, and then select. Okay, and at this point it wants to know the name of the app. Okay, now we're going to give it a name, okay, a description, okay. From there, the publisher, okay, and then it wants a URL. Okay, so there's certain values that we can fill out, okay, and write to a logo as well. Okay, so if we're going to do one from the App Store, what we want to do is we want to go to the Windows App Store and we want to get a link to the app that we want to deploy and manage with Windows Intune. Okay, now I went ahead and brought this up. Okay, so I'm going to do this one here, which is called Your Phone. Okay, and this is a great little thing here. This allows you to basically use your phone at your PC, make phone calls, text, and all that good stuff. But it's more of a fun one. But we could say this is used for line of business as well, depending on what we're doing. Okay, but this is just a demo. Okay, so I could just right-click this, okay, and select Copy Link. Okay, but I can also go in to the app properties here, okay, and I could get information about it, and I could also copy this link as well. Okay, all right, but at this point I'm going to come back over to Intune, okay, and I'm going to paste the URL in here. Now if it does not like it, you will see red underneath immediately. Okay, and then the name of the app is called Your Phone. Okay, so I'm going to type that in there. All right, and then we could enter a description for it as well. Okay, now at this point we'll come down. Okay, and I'm just going to copy and paste the description. Okay, but the description's optional. Okay. All right, but get instant access to everything you love on your phone, right on your PC. Thank you. Get straight to the point there. Okay, now from there, here are the screenshots of the app, just like any other store. Okay, but what we really want to do is come down and get the additional information. Okay, who's it published by? Okay, approximate size, things like that. Okay, and then it will allow us to fill out the additional values in here as well. Okay, so as we come down, okay, we give it a name, we give it a description. Okay, the publisher we now know is Microsoft, so we can type that in. Okay, and then from there, what category? Okay, is it a business? Is it books and references? Okay, and you can also create your own categories as well, by the way. Okay, so I'm just going to put it under collaboration and social. Okay, now, show this app featured, show this as a featured app in the company portal. Yes or no? Okay, I'm going to say yes to that. Okay. Now from there, okay, we could also say no and just say it's a required deployment if you want to go that route. Okay, but at this point it wants the information URL. Okay, now you don't really have to do that, but we would just come right back here, gather all that information if we want to. Okay, but the developer, the owner, the notes, things like that. But as far as the logo, okay, if you want it to show up correctly, then you do actually have to get a picture of the logo. Okay, so I could come in here and save this picture. Whoops, that's share. Let me do that again. Right click, save picture as. Okay, and I'll save it to my desktop here just real quick. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to my Windows Intune, to the app that I'm deploying right now. Okay, and then we can come down to logo, select image, and add the file. Otherwise it shows up kind of generic looking the way that my app looked yesterday in the company portal. If you remember seeing the Team Viewer app, just a very generic icon is how it looked there. Okay, so at this point we have the app configured. Okay, we have the URL to get the app from the Windows Store, and then the icon, okay, or the logo. Okay, so next we are gonna go next. Okay, and at this point, scope tags are really for permissions and RBAC, role-based access control. Okay, so I'm just going to go next here, and then assignments are who we're going to deploy it to. Okay, now you'll see no assignments. Okay, all right, but we can come in and we can say add group or add users. Okay, so we could add a group of computers if we want to. Okay, and at this point, we can go find our groups. Okay, and I'm just going to do desktop computers. Okay, now that's going to be all my desktops that are managed by Windows Intune. Okay, now, if I did not make it available for the store, we would see a required deployment option here. Okay, just something I do want to point out. Okay, now required means we don't have to put it into the portal, the company portal. Okay, required means we can actually deploy it straight to the actual device at that point. Okay, so required would be more of an important update or an important app or something to that extent. Okay, but at this point I'll go ahead and roll out. Okay, so we can review it all. I'm going to go ahead and select create. Okay, now it's going to take at least 15 minutes for this all to kick in. Okay, so at this point we're just going to pick back up, and as we continue pushing forward, I will point out that it will be available in the company portal. Okay, but I could have pushed it directly to the device as well. Okay, and then just a couple things I want to point out. Now, once you get it going, okay, you can always come back in and look at the device status, and it will show you how many are installed, not installed, failed, install pending, or not applicable. And then we can click on this, or double click. Okay, and at this point, well, it would show us more information on the right, so it actually would show us, any of the devices and their status, along with the user status. Okay, so we would really see them in here, and you could do searches, and things like that. But like I said, it's going to take, at least 15 minutes for all this to kick in. But I just kind of wanted to point this out along the way. Okay, since we were here. And then I can always go right back to the properties of it, make any modifications if need be. Okay, actually this is a different app here. Okay, but you can also see the device install status or the user install status. Okay, so just kind of want to point that out, even though it's a different app. Okay, and then since I am on this different app, this is one of the ones that will show required. So let me point that out just real quick as well. Because the one I did is going to display it in the company portal and make it available. Okay, so you'll see, like in our previous one, we had just assignments, nothing required. Okay, so if you do not, make it available in the company portal, you want the device to have it, you can do a required deployment. Okay, and you would select what devices or users. Okay, and that is how we manage and deploy applications with Intune.